All right, the old Tube Radio Network, trying to get stuff on the air here. Losing my voice here tonight. Gotta check something with the camera before I go too much farther. Oops, don't want to do that. Let's go to the meter. Checking out a few things here before we get started. Sunlight coming through the window is doing weird things here. It might be a little better. I'll give it a shot. This is the old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
The basic old Tube Radio Network. Got some new stuff in the control room here, so I'm trying to make sure all the controls are set and ready to go and doing what they should do. I know that you all are ready to set go and ready to do what you should do, and that is checking in the Tube radios tonight and stopping by, waving a hand on the SWL list. The old Tube Radio Network on the air for a Saturday, what is day? 22nd of May, 2021. As I mentioned before, a lot of people outside. If anybody checks in tonight, I'll be surprised. A lot of people outside having parties and swim parties and barbecues and going outside and doing things, car shows, home shows, and generally having a good time, which is a good thing. That means we haven't forgotten how to do that. So hopefully we haven't forgotten how to check in a few Tube radios here tonight. We'll be starting with the directed net roll call, as we always do, and then we'll be chatting with the radio stations. Look for us at oldtuberadio.net, the YouTube video, and right here at 27085, Channel 11 in the Central Valley of California, the old Tube Radio Network. And looking for 00 or any, but I don't see anybody on the video stream, so I'm just wondering if it is set up correctly. I don't know. And last week, as you know, we had all sorts of skip and things like that. Got some check-ins from our stations from far away. If the gray line happens tonight, we will be doing that. Have a check-in for SWL number 1. And let's see, I think, yeah, the video is going. I don't see anybody on the chat. SWL number 2, if you're out there, Mr. OBP, I am checking you in. SWL number 3, got to check in for Mr. Lone Eagle, Rob. SWL 4. SWL 5. Shortwave listener number 6. SWL 7.
Number 7, checking in.
And sounding good. in the home mode tonight. You're not out having a party or something where everybody else is, I guess. Got you checked in. SWL10, Chrissy in Idaho. I'll put a proxy in there. Hopefully they are around. I'm suspecting there may be some weirdness on the YouTube stream, as I don't see the chat. It looks like it's there, but nobody around. SWL13, SWL14, and my noise level is getting less and less. You can see the noise floor as the sun goes down. The noise floor just slowly moving away to zero, but that's good. It means we'll be able to hear our glow-in-the-dark radio stations. Next, we are looking for SWL-16 in Anoka, Minnesota. Charlie is out there, up in the front row, helping us out tonight. Hope everything is going okay in Anoka. Or I actually wrote down a different QTH, but I can't read my handwriting. It's just too scribbly. No penmanship awards here. SWL17, SWL18, getting a check-in from Mikey, who checked in via the Facebook. Over to SWL19. Chet is up in Derby, New York, by way of Belfast, Maine. Right up here in the front row, holding the cue cards. He says, "You're not doing a good job. You're not doing a very good job of reading the cards tonight. I've got different things in different places." And so when I go to look at something or grab something and it's not there, and it's telling me weird stuff. But so far, so good. As long as we get some radios checking in, we'll be okay. Over to SWL20.
Number 20 here. Please check me in. Number 2954. And tonight also number 135. We thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you, and you are sounding good. I said the channel is quiet, so everybody's sounding good tonight so far. Thank you, Harvey. Over to SWL21, who was out there earlier. He might still be out there. I don't know. The old radio night. I've been busy running around. Nope, it looks like the stream has ended. Mr. JT, I don't know what was going on. I jumped in and looked at the comments. He was on Channel 12 tonight.
Yeah, Roger on that.
On the Lafayette.
Somebody to help drive, that's the only thing. So, hadn't found anybody. Crazy man, he can't go because he can't drive. He'd have to sit in the back seat.
Maybe we could get Bozo Control to drive.
Because his foot to mash the gas pedal isn't any good.
Yeah. Got the on-air light. Anyway, hope everything was copacetic on the old radio night tonight. Looks like some check-ins. And it sounded quiet at your place, too. Not like last week where the skip was running in. Got you checked in from the Wasama Swamp tonight. Over to SWL 22. SWL 23. 23 could do OTR 23. I don't know if he is out there. I was looking for the possible Echolink link, but it could be out doing things. Even the Echolink is. I've got it up, but it ain't up. So I think there's something rotten in Denmark tonight. But I know we'll get some radios. Mitch, if you're out there, I will get you checked in. Let's go to SWL 24. SWL 25.
Hello, Dennis. 25 checking in.
Hey, sounding good. Are you hearing me out there tonight in Madeira Flats?
Yeah, absolutely. Good signal.
All right, your Antron 99 is doing good on this station here tonight as well. Thanks for tuning in, the Saturday night place to be.
Thanks, Dennis.
Then before I turn the page, I want to say hello to Gary, who's checking in from Cheyenne. Rambler 33 had some stations from Cheyenne, I think, check in on the Friday night. Annette, all sorts of skip last night, right about this time. It was open up all across the U.S. The boys from Squamish, Albert is in. So sorry about the alder wood chips. We were practicing our underhand shop and standing block shop. We have smoker and the barbecue going tonight. They're off to the side. The fire marshal said you cannot do the smoker chip unless you have some type of ventilation. So they're off to the side in that little alcove up in the balcony tonight. But look for the smoke heading out the window and the very good whatever they're doing tonight on the smoker barbecue. We'll check in with Bob and Steve to see what's happening down in the green room tonight. Albert, keep your 11-meter radio handy. We could have some skip in tonight. Next, we are going to go to SWL 27. SWL 28. Again, I don't know if the video live chat didn't come up. The window is there. Oh, you know what? Let me see. If it came up, if the live chat, you know what? The live chat didn't come up because I would be able to go in and do something myself, I think. Just checking something here. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason the chat isn't up tonight. It's going to be it's going to be very lonely in the air chair here tonight without the video SWLs. I think we are up and streaming, says it's live, but who knows? And there are 30 viewers. Hello to 30 of you. I don't know where you're at, but you are in there. I bet Mr. Gary is out there, so I will get you checked in from Sacramento. Thanks, Gary. Also, a proxy check-in for SWL number 29, Mr. Loner. And SWL 30, one of the stations that we heard loud and clear right when we called 30 last week from Idaho. There are absolutely no conditions tonight, Dwayne, so keep an ear out. If there are, we will be looking for the Robin T123. SWL 31. Let me see who was actually on the list tonight. Starting up in the balcony tonight, hello to Bronx, New York. That might be Mr. Felix out there. Dallas, Georgia, come up to you. Moncks Corner, Bridgeport, West Virginia, Canby, Oregon. Might hear some skip out there tonight. The unknown SWL. Inglewood, Colorado, the Squamish boys are in. Woodland Park as well, waiting for the skip. I think you said you were kind of getting us in between Hawaii last week and a host of others. Coming up next, SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33, myself and Bozo Control, whoever. I don't even know if the jingle singers are here. I know Mr. Announcer is in. They might be out. They might be doing something at the limo. They're probably all up at the, looks like they're up at the wood chip barbecue. Let's try SWL 34. And that's Jimmy up. Jimmy Filder should be listening. I don't know what happened to the chat. I have a feeling if I dump the video and start over, that would be a bad thing. All sorts of strange little things would try to happen. So, Jimmy, I got you checked in. All the people are out there watching and listening that I can't see. Over to SWL 35. I know this guy is here. Mr. Bill is listening in, tuning in on the old tuberadio.net, checking in from Cheyenne. Last night we had Ron was talking to somebody that knew who you were. We were talking about Red Monkey Communications and how they were so good to us here in the Central Valley and how we miss them. So hope you're doing okay. Over to SWL 36. Over to SWL 37.
37 minutes, we're in here.
You are there, and you are sounding good, and we've got you checked in. Over.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Keep hitting the wrong buttons here. Let's try. We've got 37 over to SWL 38. Shortwave listener, hello to shortwave listener 39. SWL 40. Do a refresh on the comments page. SWL 41, Mr. Road Dog. 507 out of New York. I see New York on the page, so we'll get you checked in, even though looks like our comments aren't working. Refresh page is up. Hello to Mr. Cobra, SWL 13. I see you in there. We've got you checked in. Over to SWL 42.
Yeah, it's Proxy and 42 in the game.
Will do. I'll get the triple play starting with Mr. KW. SWL 43. Crazy Eddie. We'll get Crazy Eddie checked in. Also 650. I think and a host of others that needed some proxy check-ins tonight as they're out enjoying the atmosphere. So we'll get 650 checked in. SWL 44. Okay, and I see SWL. Let's try SWL 45.
45, you're too cold to go out.
Yeah, I was talking to a 2-meter station. They were up at Shaver Lake, up on Stevenson. Is it Stevenson Mountain up there anyway? There was on a 5 watts. We were talking direct. And they said it was cold and said you definitely needed a jacket and everything else, but it wasn't raining and there wasn't any snow. I hear you great tonight. Don't hear any skip, and hopefully we'll make some communications.
So far, thanks, Dad.
Okay, also, let me take a timeout pause. And I'm going to go over to the audio board, and I see that the Echolink link is up. So at least that seems to be okay. Let me go over and see if I can take a transmission. See if we can connect up to the 23 Skidoo Echolink link. KB6GFD, over. See if it's working.
Good evening, Dennis, and hello to all the SWLs. 23 Skidoo here, out on the Monterey Bay aboard the SS SpongeBob, doing a little calamari fishing this evening. I'm sorry I couldn't check in a little bit earlier, but we were taking some green water over the bow, and the captain, who's a real smart aleck, thought it was a great time to play the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So we had to kind of deal with that for a while. But things are better now, and we're enjoying a little bit of fried calamari and tartar sauce, and we're going to sit back and listen to the show. 73 to you. Have a great show. KA3TEB.
All right, very good. Yeah, I figure a lot of people are out tonight, getting out, doing things, barbecuing, sailing around Cape Horn or whatever it is that's happening there. I'll have to pull out some of my whaling. Greenland whaling tunes. That's even better than the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. You're sounding good. Continue with what you were doing, and we do have you checked in, and thanks for jumping in and setting up the link. For some reason, the video chat, the window is there, but for some reason it looks like it didn't lock up. So maybe out of luck on video chats tonight. But the Echolink link at 354870 node is up and running. Thanks so much. AB6G update. Mr. 23 Skidoo checked in. having a good time out there. Where are we going? Let's try SWL 46. Shortwave listener SWL 47.
So you're making me feel like I've struck out twice now. I woke up this morning and I was thinking, I ought to go up 180 and try and do a check-in from, I guess it's the McGee Lookout. But I got lazy and thought, I'm not going to do that. And then, of course, a short time ago, you mentioned a 2-meter contact from Shaver. So that made me feel pretty bad. And then the second thing I was going to do today was hop on my motorcycle and drive up to Carmel just to do some shopping. There's a couple places I had items I want to get. And again, I got lazy and didn't do it. And then, of course, you got the other gentleman that just checked in from one of my favorite places to go. So I don't know if I should say good evening reluctantly from the radio lounge, but we are in the radio lounge instead of some fun faraway location. Good evening to all.
Well, there will be plenty of time to do the faraway fun modes of operation, so we'll be looking forward to that. And yeah, a lot of people finally getting out and doing things, and that is a good thing. The station just popped in on the crossband earlier. I was doing some stuff and was chatting with a buddy at a couple of watts. But if you get the good line of sight antenna, everything works well. So we'll be looking forward in future episodes to the escapades of SWL 47. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Just looking around to see what else might not be working here tonight. SWL 48. SWL 49. SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51, checking in.
Sounding good. Boy, it is just completely quiet on the channel. I don't hear anything but you. Sounding good. Got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
305 out near Sangertown. SWL 52.
Break OTR.
The break OTR. Go ahead, please.
Did you get 10 and 30 by chance?
I checked them in. The video chat did not lock up. The box is there, but there's no way to input anything. So I'm thinking out of the many viewers that say they're on the YouTube, they're probably out there, and I did get them checked in over.
Okay, yeah, they were just asking. I just noticed it up there. So, could check them in, and thank you.
Are you seeing any chat? I am not seeing the chat windows at all on my. It's just a blank screen.
No, the chat's working on mine.
Oh, very interesting. Mine is just a blank screen. I think I got a bogus thing coming up. I've got a window that says chat, but there's nothing on it, and I have no way of actually entering any data or anything. I don't see any little things, participants. What was that? Pop out. Oh, wait a minute. Pop out chat. What is this? No. Toggle timestamp. Participants. And I say I did that. That was a bad thing. Now everything just went away. So, okay, yeah, they're checked in. If you see somebody, if you manage to notice something, I'll do a relay on the check-ins, because there are a lot of people out there, but I'm not seeing the chat over.
Okay, yeah, OBP and number 16 are there also.
Okay, got OBP and probably a host of others. And I'm just see if I refresh the stream, since I'm running it, that would be a bad thing. It would shut everything down. So I just have to go with what I don't got. All right, thanks.
No problem.
Nothing from 52, but he might be out there. And SWO 53. Mr. Beller, I'm getting Beller checked in. Talked to his brother earlier, who was sounding great. Sounding great coming in here to Midtown. So 53, you're checked in. Over to page 3. I've got SWL 54 checked in. How about SWL 55? SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
All right. The radio's still working good. Checking the APRS map. I turned my APRS off. It thunks my receiver, so I turned off my beacon. I don't see the Gazebo Gardens Running Man out there tonight, so I do hear you on the AM side, so that is a good thing. Got you checked in. Next, we've got shortwave listener 57.
Brown Dog Audio is checked in on the chat site.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Ed, for doing the extra duty there. Like I said, I'm probably missing a lot of people, but I have no idea why they didn't come up. That's my little post-it note. I'll have to check to make sure when I bring things up that the chat is there before I commit to whatever I'm doing. All right, thanks, 57, Mr. Brown Dog Audio from Central Kentucky. Over to SWL 58. I just got told to proxy in Jeremy, which I will. SWL 59. SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis, and we're going to say evening time to all the fellas out there. I am checking in this old base here that we're warming up. SWL 60, checking in, Dennis.
60 is sounding good. It is a good time, and you remind our listeners and tube radio operators that now is a good time to warm up the tube radios, because we will be chatting and talking to the tube radios here in not too long. I want to have them up and ready to go. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis.
Over to SWL 61.
51, checking in, Dennis.
Dean, you're sounding good. As always, here on the Old Tube Radio Network, we got you checked in.
Thank you, sir.
SWL 62. SWL 63. Out in Northeast Georgia, Butterbean, who was present and accounted for over at the Old Radio Night, BB, out in North Georgia. I'm checking you in here to the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Over to SWL 64. SWL 65.
65, checking in.
All right, up there where it's cold, but I guess maybe some rain, but no snow. But this is that thing that always happens in May and the beginning of June, a little cold spell that comes through. So you're sounding good.
Thank you, Dennis. We did have a little sprinkle today, no snow. It is rather chilly, and it's feeling very nice. So thank you, and have a great evening.
All right, I got the window open. I hope the OTR window cadaver doesn't notice that the window is open. It's beaconing. The cadaver is beaconing pretty good back there tonight. So see what happens. See if we get any strange noises. Eric is checked in. Let's try SWL 66.
All right, here's there, Dennis. SWL 66, checking in.
All right, Mr. Witch Doctor Jim, it is always a treat when you key up, because I never know. It's like you're watching your favorite old radio program just coming across the dial all of a sudden, and you just have to stop and not do anything else but listen. I hope you're doing well, and the Old Tube Radio Network says hello, radio.
Yes, sir. Everything's good over here. Just been busy getting everything ready for summer, but I think we got all the hatches battened down, and we're ready. I'm glad I had time to check in tonight. I've been missing it.
And likewise, we've been missing you, but you did well. You've got an X in the square, as you know, and 66 is good to go once again. Thanks for listening.
All right, yes, sir, Dennis. Hello out there to all the other SWLs. Switch to 66. I'm back quiet.
Yeah, the Old Tube Radio Network here, Central California, 27085, Channel 11, where there appears to be, what do they say, not a speck of skip. DX Land is somewhere else, streaming on your Universal Media Netweb at www.oldtuberadio.net or something like that, and a YouTube video that's videoing but not chatting, at least where I am. So hello all to all the chattees that I cannot see. Maybe it will decide to pop in, but I doubt it. Once these things get going, that leads me to believe that maybe something else will crash before I'm out of here tonight. Let's go over to SWL 67. But the new audio gear is working nice tonight. That is performing well. SWL 67. That's Bill up in Canby, Oregon, who is listening in. Where are you tonight? He's just on the other edge of the... Is it the loge? I don't know. Up by the balcony. Bill, listen for us. But I don't know if we'll have some conditions tonight or not, but we got you checked in. Over to SWL 68. SWL 69. What? I'm hearing explosions or something. Everybody's out having a good time. Kenny in Tulsa, who checked in last week watching the video, where it says, where is it? SWL 69, that's Mr. Kenny. 73 to you, Kenny, and we'll get you checked in. Anybody want to say hi to Kenny?
Yes, and doggone it, he did. I talked to him this afternoon. Kenny did say hello to everyone. He was having a good time. He was at his son's company picnic. So Kenny and Marsha are doing great.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, you're going to have a picnic. Now is the time to do it. So, all right, great. Thanks, Joe, and thanks, Ken, for checking in on the video. SWL 70. And Mark was sounding good. I'll give him a proxy check, and he was sounding good on... He did the Wednesday night net, I believe. On Wednesday nights, 10-meter sideband at 28,445 from the Central Valley and everywhere else if the conditions are running. Got your ham ticket. Listen in on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Maybe you'll hear some familiar voices. Or maybe you'll just hear... You'll be like me. You'll just hear voices all the time. Next is SWL 71. Stan is checking in from his secret amateur radio two-way, I should say the secret two-way radio station location near Dallas, Georgia. Thanks, Stan, for checking in. All the control page stuff is working. I just can't see the chat page over on the video side. Over to SWL 72. SWL 73. SWL 74. I'll get to 74 checked in. Over to SWL 77.
Well, we'll give this one a shot. 77 on the old Cam 88. Tubes are glowing warm. 73 is all the listeners, and the Tower of Power. 77 checking in.
Tower of Power sounding most excellent. And probably have a... another check-in with that radio coming up shortly when we start glowing in the dark. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Not sure. Did I call SWL 75? It didn't light up on my screen, so let me just call 75. All right, SWL 78. I think to get Richard, I'd have to go over to 75 meters. He's down in Wild Wildemar. I can often hear him in the morning on 40 meters at 7.235 on the swap net there when conditions are good. Might be good there now. You know, I've got the HF radio tuned up. Let's see what's going on. Let's jump down. Yeah. 75 is noisy. Man, look at the static crash. There's some AM people. Got some AM. So maybe give 75 meters a try tonight if all else fails. We can't get through on some DX here. Let's go over to SWL 79.
79 checked in via the internet, YouTube, and also, I don't know if you got 63 and 83 checked in there also.
Okay, coming up on 83 and 63, and that's Butterbean, I do believe, and I got him checked in out of North Georgia. He was in also on Old Radio Night tonight. Thanks.
No problem.
And I'm losing my voice. SWL, is it allergy stuff already? I don't know. SWL 80. And with that said, I think it is probably safe to possibly try to turn the page here. But before I do, I would like to see what Bob and Steve are up to tonight.
27.0850 TR Channel 11.
Bob and Steve show. The limo is out and running around. All of them are out. I think everybody's out doing the limo. They got the top down, the windows open, and having a great time. Week of May 22nd. What's going on? The Jingle Singers are having a shuffleboard tournament this week. If you would like to sign up on the bulletin board in the elevator or near the elevator. Sounds like fun. It's been a while since I played shuffleboard. I wonder if OTR 23 is on the deck playing shuffleboard tonight. Can you do that? Is it? I guess shuffleboard, the stuff doesn't move around. I wouldn't try bowling on a vessel, but shuffleboard's probably okay. Bob and Steve cleaned the fish tank and fed the fish because they didn't forget. The Jingle Singers will be on stage right after the net tonight singing old radio tunes from the 60s. So come on down to the green room after the net. Bring your guitar. I'm going to sing some of those folk revival tunes. Remember that folk revival that lasted about a week in 1966? See how good they are. See if they know any of those tunes. Come on down to the green room after the net for the Jingle Singers and the bar tonight from the state of New Mexico, Soft Shell Indian Tacos. Don't have to wait for the show to be over. You can get them right now. And pizza to your taste. I like that. I like almost nothing on mine, so they won't have a problem. All the beer is on Bob and Steve. Boy, they are very generous tonight. Thank you, Bob and Steve. Maybe that's where everybody is. Maybe that's why I can't see the chat room. Thanks everyone. All the SWLs. Have a great net and a great week, and we certainly will. Next, we've got SWL 81, Mr. Steve Areno, who probably might be on the video page. I'm going to check Steve in. Went by. They're having the yard sales. They had the Harvard sale this week, and I think the Terrace sale is coming up, and probably all the streets off in that area are having their yard sales coming up. Over to SWL 82. And I got a note to check in 82, or proxy in 82, which I will. I have to make some adjustments here. Let's see, SWL 83, Epimetheus 83, out on the old old radio night tonight. And also checking in on the chat on the old tube radio network. That's what this is, old radio night. Is the other thing. And doing streaming. What kind of streaming do you do? I noticed it said something about the the old-time hippie video stream. You know, I wanted to be a hippie. I was just like a year too early. So I asked my mom. I said, "Mom, can I be a hippie?" And she said, "No, sit down and eat your dinner." So that was the end of my career of sleeping on Owsley's floor. Let's try SWL 84. And I'll get to Jerry and the gang checked in over there in Clovistown. How about SWL 85? And SWL 86, SWL 87, and SWL 88, the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and Snowy Owl, respectively. SWL 89. Maybe I'll give 89 a second. I saw him in one of those Facebook things where it's like the memory page, and it was from 8 years ago. He was on his speed bicycle, ready to do one of those insane, let's drive up to Shaver Lake and then drive down to Sanger and then drive back, or bike back kind of things. So Darren, you're checked in, and I hope you made it. I know you made it. Back in whenever that was. Where are we going here? We're looking for SWL 90's got a proxy check-in. And Felix has made it over on the Echolink link. So let me first bring it up here and give the Echolink link a try tonight and see how it's working. N2PFX from KB6GFD, over.
Yes, good night, Dennis. How are you? SWO 91 checking in. Hello to you and all on the band. 7-3.
All right, sounding very good. Got a good connection on the Echolink tonight. And for some reason, my chat window is displaying absolutely nothing, even though I know people are out there. So Ed is helping us out. And you were good enough to jump in on node 354870 and say hello, radio from New York. So 73 to you, and we've got you checked in. KB6GFD, 73. All right, Felix is checked in 91. Who else is next? Let's try Chuck out of Madera, SWL 92. SWL 93. SWL 95, Warthog 95, who is probably over on the YouTube video page. We'll get you checked in.
Yep, he is there, and number 40 also checked in, and 147.
And 40, okay. Yeah, I got a question one of these days for 40. We'll get Neil coming up. Thank you, Ed. Let's see, over-the-air check-in. We've got SWL 96, Prune Picker out of Kerman, if you are listening, over. And SWL 97, Boston 97, may or may not be on the chat page, but he often does say hello, radio, over there. Let's go to Mr. Tentmaker, who was in earlier, SWL 99?
Yeah, 99, too.
Okay, still there. Still got the volume up through all the activity going on at the QTH. Sounding good. We got you checked in.
Thank you so much.
All right, SWL 100. Tony is in McClellanville, South Carolina. I'm checking to see if he's on the Echolink. He often stops by there. Sometimes he stops by the video page. You know who is on the Echolink link tonight? Oh boy, but I've been transmitting all that time. All right, was I taking a long Echolink transmission? It's like simulcast. So let me see if Chrissy is there. If we can give it a try. Sometimes we have the reverb echo, but if you're there, Chrissy, see if you can take a transmission on Echolink, KF7FTI, KB6GFD. Go ahead, over.
Yes, Dennis, I hear you. It's been an interesting night. Our power is out right now, so we're doing everything by cell phone, trying to keep our power up.
Are you having weather issues that caused the power outage? You sound great. I've got you checked in as 00, also checked in as 10. Dwayne is checked in as 30. Just wondering what caused the power outage tonight, or do you know? Over.
Yes, we had a windstorm come through, and anytime it gets really windy up here, we usually have a power outage. So they figure it should be on around 9:30 tonight. We'll see.
All right, very good. Well, I guess you're on the battery-operated device for Echolink. It's working good here at node 35480. Thanks for popping in, giving us the update. My apologies for not having the chat window, at least on my side, on the YouTube tonight. Thanks for checking in. We've got everybody, and have a good rest of your evening and a great day tomorrow. 73 KB6 GFD. Talking to Chrissy up on Echolink from Idaho.
You do the same, Dennis. Have a wonderful weekend, and continue with the WL check-ins.
Some wind up in Idaho. So the low pressure is sort of swept over the west coast and Central Valley and headed out. Who knows what it will do? Let's go. Let's see. I've got Tony 99 Roberts checked in. Tony is checked in. SWL 100. How about SWL 103? Shortwave listener 109. SWL 110. Checked in earlier and sounding good. He said it himself. He's an alligator station. Robert, we can always hear you fine, but he's got a very high noise level. He can only hear the big strap stations, and then they have to be super big strap stations here. You were checked in. Let's try SWL 113. No, I'm going to give Tom a check-in. I heard him on the Friday night early risers net. I managed to figure out how to get into that, and Tom was checking in, along with a lot of people. So, Tom, you're checked in. Let's try SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114, you are sounding good, and you're definitely not in the Berenda Slough tonight. You've got a great signal. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you for the check-in.
All right, trying to find the right screens here and see who is on. I'll refresh my page, because often when I do that, I will see the likes of SWL 128, John out in Fairfax, Virginia. I'll be looking for you when my screen finally refreshes. Let's try locally SWL 131. SWL 133. Got a proxy check-in for shortwave listener 135. And a proxy check-in for shortwave listener 137. And I heard this station beaconing in earlier. If he's still out there, hello radio, Tony, 145.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and the rest of the group. This is Tony, SWR 145. Just want to say thank you for joining us on the Early Risers on Friday, Dennis. It's a pleasure hearing you. Back to you.
Yeah, it was fun. I found the right link, right call letter link to get in. And you were gracious enough, just as I got in, you said, oh, let's see if Dennis is there. And it's like, wow, this guy's on the ball. And then my screen went away, and I couldn't find the transmit button. But then again, you were also good enough to come back and say any visitors. And I took my shot at the question. We used to do that long ago, like 30 years ago. We had a question of the evening. We called that in the old Tube Radio Network, but that's back when we had an extra hour of time to do all that stuff. Anyway, you sounded great, doing a good job, and I had fun. So thanks for checking in.
Well, I guess I appreciate you joining us. We're on 7 days a week, and all the other guys give kind of random trivia questions. I'd like to keep my questions on Friday and related. Roger?
Yeah, and it was. And it made me think. And then when I found the answer, I said, I probably could have deduced that from just the name, back in the 30s, the name they gave the island would work well. But good stuff. All right, good to know that there was DX 80 years ago going on strong. Thanks for checking in. Next, we've got SWL 147, Neil out in Kakalaki, who is on the video side page. And probably, I think when I refresh at the end of the program here, at the end of the net, I'll go in and watch the video, and I'll have that's my homework tonight, is I'll go back and look at all the comments. And I hope I don't see people saying, how come he's ignoring me? No. I just can't see. The screen is blank on my end, so... Tony, I'll find out what kind of conditions you were doing this week, or Neil, rather. I'll find out what kind of conditions you were happening up in Fayetteville. Let's try going to Bobby, SWL 188.
Evening time to the net. 188, Snow Beast Jr. checking in.
Break, OTR.
All right, 188, Snow Beast Jr. Sounding good. We've got you checked in. Thanks. And who is the break OTR? Go ahead.
It's 131. I was absent for the check-in, but I'm here now.
All right, well, good. I'm still on the same page. We're still on page 4, so it is easy to find you and put that X in the square. Probably out having a good time, like everybody these days, thinking, oh, my gosh. I forgot how to do that. Anyway, you were sounding good.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Let's go up to Course Gold, where it might be a bit chilly up there as well. SWL 195. Well, yeah, I think Shaver's got another grand or two of elevation on you guys, so it's probably nice. Like they said, it's kind of enjoying the cold before it's too hot stuff. You are looking good tonight. We've got you checked in over. And let's try 223 up in Mariposa, get him a check-in. Can't remember if I heard him on, I think he proxy checked in on Friday night. Anybody else before we jump over to the tube radio check-ins? And I'll do a once around the block here, make sure everything is working. All right, your old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark, and I think we have one or two that are warmed up tonight. You never know. If we don't have radios and no skip, I may have to bring out the mandolin and do some music. I don't know. Your old Tube Radio Network will be back in a moment as we set up for the tube radios.
Sounds like OTR is flipping switches.
All right, we are back. I think everything is set up and ready to go the way it should be. So, as they say, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yeah, you know, radio, OTR, that groovy, cool thing that you don't get a bill at the end of the month, like you do with your telephone or your internet service provider. And in this case, the Old Tube Radio Network, the old tubes glowing in the dark, looking pretty cool, and still working after all those years. We'll see how many we can find tonight here on your Old Tube Radio Network. Hi there, my name is Dennis, net control operator of the Old Tube Radio Network, something that has been taking place here in the Central Valley of California for the last, 36 years, thanks to you, our Tube Radio collectors, who take time out of your Saturday evening to share your collections with us, talk about tubes, test microphones, whatever you want to do. That is why we are here, documenting it on the audio stream, the video stream as well, and just having a good time getting the flavor of what it was like on Citizen Band Radio when those radios were brand new. The demeanor and the context, whatever. This is what we do here. So let me stop talking, and I'll say OTR is standing by for radio number 1.
45. Break 1-1.
Hey, Paul, it is good to hear you. Stand by. Let me pick up the breaking station, and we'll be right back to you, Paul. The break 1-1, go ahead.
Hello, Dennis. 708 check-in request 444.
Okay, got you in. Not sounding too bad, and hope all is well up there in the foothills.
If they were any more fantastic, it'd be ridiculous. So yeah, we're doing good. Hope you're doing half as well.
This is the half as well frequency, and you are correct. So I will take, the way things are going, I will take 50% with no problems. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, man.
And then Paul, step up into the air chair. Well, we got a chance before the skip jumps in. I don't think it will. It's just super quiet. I also want to recognize our sponsor and populate the pocket protector tonight. Tonight brought to us by RCA Whirlpool. A very nice, heavy pen. That's all it says. There's no address, nothing like that. So do we have the wacky close-up camera there? There it is. RCA, if it'll focus, RCA Whirlpool. And that will go right here in the pocket protector tonight, so that I am super official. All right, Paul, can you hear me? Over.
Whirlpools are good. good pencil. Anyway, check in my Browning Golden Eagle Mark II Series B. That's Roman numeral 2.
Okay, the Mark II Series B, which I think was the last of those style radios. And as always, it always comes up with no picture for that. I've got every other one. It has the on-the-air light, 5-piece Browning. Now, is that the one that has all the many pieces, more than just 2?
4-piecer, 69 receiver, X110 volt trans adapter, and SB15 sideband on the thing, all in a little line. They kind of call them like a train, receivers and transmitters back to you.
Yeah, I know Everett used to call it the train, and I think Jimmy calls his the train. You know, I found, let's see if I can do this. I did find a photo. Let's see if it pastes into the screen here. Yeah, there it is. I know this is I don't know how close it is to your radio, but that's the 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces with a map and everything else. Pretty cool. Take a transmission. It sounds great.
Yeah, I run a stock mic on the thing. It's an extra voice, but it's a Browning on the front, so I would say it's Browning electrical device. It's just a stock banana microphone. I don't know how it sounded, and it's been a while since I checked this mic in. We'll see on archives. But no, it's a real neat radio, I'll tell you. It's got all the little goodies on it that you want. I kind of like the old style. And all those pieces up there, it's interesting. It's flipping between radios and everything else. The thing over 3 foot long with everything hooked up on the thing, so it lays on the bench just pretty tight. Back to you, Dennis.
Well, it sure sounds good. Nice audio and a good signal in here tonight. I never really have problems copying you, but you sound super good tonight. So I'm not real privy on the earlier Brownings. Does that have sideband? Is that what the extra one of the extra units does? It has a sideband transmitter. Over.
I missed that. Come back on that, please.
So the Mark II, the Series B, that actually has sideband. It'll do AM and sideband. Over. Okay, got that, and I think I had some other things, but yeah, that's an impressive setup, and all the units match. It's got the big meters on everything. Everything is big. There's no way for you to miss something on that, but it's shown on this photo. It's about as wide as a bath towel. It's like they've got it sitting on a nice white towel. So you better have a good 4 feet of radio table real estate if you want to splay them out horizontally, which looks pretty cool. Our first radio tonight, Browning Golden Eagle Mark II. When you hear some of the stations that really like the Brownings, a lot of them will defer back. You think, they're going to like the Mark IV or the Mark III. A lot of them really like the Mark II. And this is when Browning was probably at their height, at their fullest. I don't know how many employees they had, like 100 employees. And these radios, even though they were expensive, were definitely big sellers. Back to you.
Yeah, you can even put on a power booster, as they call the thing. All this thing too, they make one of the fitted this radio. Of course, they fit most of the Browning radios, and then they get a 5-piece. A lot of people call it a 5-piece because of that, but it's a 4-piece, and that's right in front of me, and I love it. Thanks for checking it in, Dennis.
Hey, thanks for bringing it by, getting us started off with the Browning tonight. Again, my apologies to those who are watching live on the YouTube, that my chat window is up, but there's nothing on it, and the chat is going on. So chat away, say what you want, and then after the program here, I'll be, my homework is to watch the program and specifically see what kind of comments that I missed. Radio number 1, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark II, Series B, and the old Tube Radio Network is listening.
Number 7.
Number 7. Well, I can see that the Eagles are definitely not going to let the Robins roost early like they have been in past weeks. Go ahead.
Okay, this time the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 and the stock microphonium, the old banana mic.
Okay, well, I know I have an R68 T68 photo, so I'll bring that up. The banana microphonium working well with that combination. And we'll go back to you for a transmission on our number 2 radio on the old Tube Radio Network.
Well, thanks to good old Harvey, this radio was resurrected and working with his talented little fingers, got in there and got it going. And now I have another Browning to play with, and just can't get enough of the Brownings.
Built like a tank, still running strong. The R68 T68, that's the model, that's the first Golden Eagle. And that was the model prior to the Mark II. So this is the Mark I. They don't say it, or the Mark None. From 1967 to 68, came after the Eagle, before the Mark II for a year, or maybe 18 months or so. Sold for just under $400, the Browning Golden Eagle Series 2 transmitter, and it's a Series 2. There's Series 1 and Series 2. The Series 2 transmitter has the lighted on the air dial, or the lighted on the air light rather than the spotlight. And the Series 1 and some receivers have variable RF gain. Others have a 3-position switch. Over.
Yes, mine is a Series 2, and it has the 3-position switch, which is definitely different, but it works pretty well.
Okay, so on the 3-position switch, and I'm looking on my kind of less than stellar picture here. I think I see a 3-position switch up near the speaker. What does it say? Like high, medium, low, or 6 dB, 10 dB, 12 dB? How do they have it calibrated?
That would be distance, normal, and local.
Distance, normal, and local. Okay, RF gain. Handy, even if you're not distance or local, just to knock down the noise a little bit or to attenuate. You got a strong neighbor on 27075. Hit that thing to local and kick down the RF gain a little bit, and it works just perfect. There's an optional cabinet that went with that, an optional bass speaker. And they're still around today. I saw on Facebook, one of the Facebook sites, the guy had one. with same grill cloth and the two little screw terminals on the back. It would be a cool thing to have, but doggone it, they've got a huge speaker in that radio anyway, so you probably wouldn't need that one. You got it fired up. It sounds good. Give us another transmission on the Browning.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And with that, we'll take a listen for some more radios and warm up some more tubes.
All right, very good. Tubes is a good thing, and they do like to be warm. Tubes never complain when it's warm outside. Transistors, a little different story. You got to have heat sinks and that, but tubes will work good. I'm trying to see if anybody's back in the studio. They're having a good time. They barbecue up in the balcony. The limousine is going on. Got the shuffleboard thing coming up. So, okay, there's enough people. Looks like there's enough people at the microphonium where we can go over and say, as they often do, this is your old tube radio network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we're listening for radio number 3.
Right, OTR. 45.
Hey, 45, jump into the air chair. I will be right with you, but first, I want to pick up the SWL check-in. The break OTR, go ahead, over.
Yeah, hello there, Dennis. You got Bel Air, 53, the lecture, checking in late there, Roger.
Hey, not a problem. No problem with checking in late, because actually there was a station that checked you in and checked in for you, and it was sounding pretty good. So how are things going out there?
Oh, we're doing great. Everything's great there, by golly, praise the Lord, yeah. Yeah, that might have been my brother. He wanted to get a radio check, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I appreciate it there. I'm sorry I'm late, but hey, you're sounding good there, Dennis. You have yourself a good night, 73.
Hey, not a problem. And indeed it was your brother. He mentioned your name, and I told him that Mr. Belair, he might be late, but he would not miss. He would not miss getting an X in the square on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, sir. You have a good night. Check.
Okay, and Paul is right there ready to go with a radio of choice. Hello, 45.
Okay, I'll get back to general radio telephone. This is my Super MC11.
I would say it's rare, only because we check in so many Super MC11As that it's often easy to forget that they started with the General Radio Telephone Super MC11. I can't remember exactly why they switched to the A. I am looking for the photo, which I believe we have, and once I find that, right there, we'll take a transmission.
Yeah, that's it. You see, it has no logo on the thing next to the meter up there. That's the interesting part of the thing. They manufactured this thing at the same time, a little bit before the MC11A, of course, because they put the A out there after they called these in. They had a modulation problem on the thing, an oscillator problem, and so they called every one of them to get back. Let's put it that way. And I was lucky enough to get one they never got back and repaired. It's a little touchy. If I get it right with all tubes and everything, you can't hardly tell the thing. It's got a problem with the modulator, or with an oscillator. I'm sorry, but it does get the job. Back to you.
Yeah, it does a nice job. Really nice, clear sounding audio, and it's loud, as are most of the general radio telephones. I'll pop in the S meter on your next transmission. We'll see how are you doing. And a pretty radio, just like the generals, the later generals, with the nice sort of brushed, I don't know what that is. It's not chrome, perhaps brass-looking front, the rack handles. It's got the Delta tune. And you are right. Between the channel selector and the S meter, it is missing the GRT logo, but it indeed does have the 24 channels. So it's got the cap frequencies in line. Back to you for transmission.
I don't put things on the thing. It just had the problem on the thing, so they put that logo on the thing to tell, I guess, that you had one that was repaired. I don't know, but it came out real good. Really like this little radio here. This microphone thing is, they keep on saying it's 350C ceramic. And it's a stock microphone, not stock for the radio, but it's a brand new microphone I was lucky enough to get. Not wired for this one, but I wired in, and I think the 350C were mainly the turners we put in the thing on the microphone, or most of it. But I think you agree. I think General had a way to go inside and do a little bit more to it. Some of these things are really loud with the stock microphone. Who knows? Anyway, let's check this one in, and thanks for checking it, Dennis.
Thank you for bringing it by. Yeah, they did a lot of, I don't know if we had it recorded or not, but there was a letter from one of the General Radio Telephone people talking about, working on one of the tech's kitchen tables with these radios and going in and, changing a capacitor or resistor here and there, like you said, to get a little extra tweak, to get a little extra power. You got to remember back in the 60s, late 60s, you were going against Tram and Browning and E.F. Johnson and Regency, and it was really a tough business before the imports came in and sort of messed things up. So you had to be on your toes, and they definitely were with the Super Series from the 9 and the 11s. This is the 11, not the 11A, and it's sounding great. It's always a pleasure to hear anything from your collection. And if we went back and had archives from all 36 years of OTR, we pretty much would hear at least one radio probably from your collection each week. Each week of each 52 weeks of each year of each 36 years. Thanks, Paul. It's looking good.
Looking forward to the archives of the thing. Thanks for checking in, Dennis.
The Old Tube Radio Network. I see that we have an Echolink link. The 23 Skidoo link appears to be up. Let me see if I've got it ready to go. We'll see if we can't get a hold of X4000, KN6LW, KB6GFD on the Echolink over. Might have stepped away, and we'll keep an eye out for X4000. He might. Oh, there he is. He might still be ready to do his other thing. Other than that, we're standing by for your tube radio check-ins.
Number 7.
60.
All right, I'm just checking something here. 7, Mr. Ed, step up into the air chair. You will be radio 4 at 9:24. And Joe will put in 60 to follow as radio 5. Lots of good stuff in the green room. We'll be right back with you. Hello, Mr. Ed.
Hello, OTR. Yes, X4000 checked in from the chat room, so he was out there a minute, maybe back. Anyway, with that, this one is the TR27 Echo.
The Tram TR27E. No doubt on the chat somebody mentioned that there was a lot of metallic looking radios and there wasn't much green going on. Well, lo and behold, there is definitely some green things happening now with the Tram TR27E. Over.
Well, there you go. It is definitely big and majorly green. 5x7 speaker, a nice big S meter that even old eyes can see. It's about 3 inches tall, a little better than 3.5 inches wide, and we got volume, noise limiter, squelch, a little modulation light, your channel selectors, and there you are.
And there you are. It's hard to believe this radio goes back to, I believe, late 1962 or 1963. And so there's a lot going on here for top-of-the-line radio. This is the big bucks. It gave you everything. You've got 23-channel tunable receive. You've got 23-channel crystal transmit and the S-meter and everything else. So top-of-the-line radio from Tram. I wish I was, back in my original days of CB radio in the very late 60s and early 70s, and I probably heard these radios or talked to somebody on one, but I really don't remember. I really don't remember talking to anybody on the Tram, but I think I would have remembered it. 3.5 watts minimum. I'm looking. I thought I had the picture with the advertisement. That didn't show up here, but anyway, that is. Oh, by the way, if you're looking at if you're watching the video or you're at the OTR page, the net page, this picture is the radio that you will hear next on Transmit.
Yes, it is the very radio on which I am speaking. The first 23 that I saw was actually Speedball Everett. He's the one that had it. I'm not sure who got that radio, but it was a very nice one. And when this one came along, I just could not resist. I picked it up and put the Electro Voice 638 microphone attached to it, and well, there you are.
There you are. Yeah, there was a series. This was the last in the Tram, in the TR series, I think. There was a 27C. There was a 70C, which was a mobile version, so it was a little bit smaller. It was still big, but it was small. And there might have been something else, but this is the E. There's the ad. Now, why not own a Tram? It's the best 23 citizen band base station. Features 12 tubes. 5 double-tuned RF and IF transformers, 23-position transmit, 1 crystal receive switch, 5x7 heavy-duty magnetic speaker. And on this ad, it says, now, all Tram equipment is covered by a 12-month guarantee, transferable to any subsequent owner. See warranty packed with your set. Nobody does that now.
Nobody really seems to do that, and I have actually acquired one of the 70Cs mobile, and I'm going to do some work to it and see if I can't get it on the air.
That would be excellent. Breaker acknowledged. We'll check in with you, and we've got another radio standing by. From Joe, a careful assembly. Every Tram chassis is hand-wired and soldered. No printed circuit board troubles. See, they're dissing the printed circuit boards. Connectors are 100% inspected. Radios, when completed, are completely tested before approval. Tram Electronics Incorporated guarantees your money back if for any reason you are dissatisfied and you choose to return the product in 10 days. So if it's been 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and it's still working. So they knew what was up. Okay, sounding good. Take another transmission. I'm going to pop in the S meter so you can give yourself a signal report on the playback.
Well, there you go. Well, I would definitely not want to send it back. I'm definitely satisfied with the good old Tram. Definitely like the radio. Man, it's, yeah, I like Trams and Brownings. What can I say? I don't think you can go wrong with either one. And with that, I believe there's someone else out there, so I'll shut up and let you get to him.
Okay, we've got Joe standing by. Joe, step up in the air chair. You're Radio 5 next. And again, my apologies to those who are on the YouTube chat. I will watch the video and look at your comments. My chat screen came up blank. It will neither let me chat or let me be a chatter or a chatty. But I know you're out there out there watching. Before we go to Joe for Radio 5, I want to pick up the breaking station. Harvey, did you have a comment or a radio? Over.
Well, I have a radio. It keeps working.
All right, keep fanning at it. Keep feeding it, and we'll be back with you in a moment. You'll be Lucky Radio 6. In the meantime, at 9:31 Pacific Daylight Time, we're heading over to Hustler Joe, who has an item of interest for us. Hello, 60.
Thank you there, Dennis. Doggone it. We did enjoy ourselves in the green room. We did find the coffee and the bagels with raisins in it. But doggone it, the coffee could have been a little hotter. Anyway, Dennis, I'd like to check in my messenger. My 223 Johnson. I think the tubes are warm, and they're ready to go. And something tells me I don't need any lights to put on this radio, because it is a well-lit radio, and I'm talking on a stock microphone.
And a radio that was a very popular radio back in 1969, 1970. E.F. Johnson sold a lot of sets. A lot of their mobile radios were very rugged, not too big, and all their mobiles, with the exception of like the earlier Viking models that could do the 6 and 12 volts, were solid state. So that was sort of what was taken over back then. But still, E.F. Johnson, Edgar F. knew the value of a good base station and the value of solid tube construction, and so this was their final, pièce de résistance of the Messenger 2 with 23 channels and the good stuff, and you can tell it's still working in the 21st century. It doesn't even need a amplified microphone. Over.
Well, we don't know anything about that, but doggone it, it is one solid radio. The back end just consists of an AC cord, and it goes right to work. It's been from the start. I've had it on. I checked it in. I checked my SWL number on it, and it's been sitting here warming up and receiving everything that's been going on. We'll really enjoy this one, Dennis. This radio has been good to me, and I'll continue to be good to it. Thanks for letting me check it in, Dennis.
Looking good. Yeah, if there's a page in the dictionary for, two-way radio, two-way citizen band radio, this is probably the one that's in the margin. It just looks good. It's not busy. It's not multiple pieces. It's a speaker and an S meter and a big channel selector knob and a couple of knobs and a microphone and some nice shiny chrome. And it all works well. The Messenger 223, 1969 to 1972. 72 was the last production model of that. You can find out more about it in Sam's. If you got a CB23, it's on page 53 or pages 53 and whatever. And that sold for around $200. $200 back in 1970 when, I don't know, you might have been able to get a used Ford Falcon for $200, but I'll guarantee you still wouldn't have it. You wouldn't have it today, but you still have the radio. Take another transmission on radio number 5. Thanks for bringing it by.
I don't have any doubts about that. I probably wouldn't have the car, but this old radio here, there for sure, sitting on top of this desk, yeah, we'd still have it. Okay, Dennis, thanks a whole lot there, and we'll let you get on to the next one.
All right, very good. On a Saturday evening, the Old Tube Radio Network, people still out enjoying the fact that they can still be out enjoying themselves yet again. So things are slow. Even Skipland has turned off, not like it was last week. But you never know. That gray line from the mini grass might come in. Calling Harvey on the west side. Over.
Number 20. And this is a general radio telephone. MC7. If you can hear.
Yeah, I can hear you. I wouldn't call it 100% modulation. Sounds like it might be the original stock microphonium, but you're making RF. You are inserting some audio into the carrier there, and the MC7, which I might have a picture of, is doing good. Over to you for a transmission.
Okay, I got a feel that the MC7 takes a special light. Now this is electronic switch, not relay. I tried to put on hand light. Excuse me. And I got zero modulate, well, barely any modulation. I think on some of their radios, they switched from high impedance to low impedance lights, and which meant that some of their hand lights didn't work on some of their radios. And the only way I can get this thing to move audio-wise is to put an amplified Turner special 1 mic on it.
Well, I would say it sounds like it's an impedance mismatch. You have very restricted audio. You have no low frequencies whatsoever, and not a lot of mid-range frequencies, so sounds like it could be impedance mismatched. You need one of those fancy EV microphoniums like Ed's got. Might like the tube stuff better. But you know, the MC7 features 25-watt construction. So methinks it's got one of those special little plugs in the back to put it into business band. Once again, General has produced a new and original design which is destined to set the pace for radio industry. The new MC7 is the first 24-channel unit offered to the citizen band public. This unit is the result of 2 years of development and has proven to be the most efficient transceiver yet designed for citizen band use. Well, there you go. You have a great thing there. Over.
Roger. It's definitely an impedance mismatch. If I allow it to feed back, I can kind of get the audio up to the 25 watts. No plug in the back. It will do about 3.5, swinging at 25, but the audio is real bad. Now if I turn this up, okay, I turned it up, swings to about 20, and let's see, about 2 3/4 to 20, but I'm not sure how it sounds.
Well, I think you made a second adjustment. The second adjustment started, it's just getting to the point of oscillation. It sounds louder, and where you were, louder is a good thing. The audio frequency response is still very pinched and narrow, but it's louder, so you may have to back off to the first setting to, one, keep a little bit of the loudness, but two, to get rid of what's wanting to be the oscillation coming up.
Okay. I backed off a bit. How's that?
That's okay. It's very low. If you listen to the playback, you'll hear it. It's not a constant thing. Sort of your voice is triggering it.
Yeah. Okay, how about 1.5 watts, swinging at 55. That's with the modulator, but I have to turn it down so it doesn't feed back.
All right, now you sound like Citizen Band Radio. It is. I don't know what to say. If I say it was loud, it might encourage you to use that. It's interesting. You almost sound like sideband because of the control carrier going on and the fact that the audio is so pinched off. You did get rid of the squeal with the adjustment, so with the Harvey range boost, you know the proper way to run it. But in this situation, you don't need it, and the radio, it's already having problems. And as you know, sometimes a range boost will just amplify everything, good or bad. Over.
Yeah, Roger. What I need to do is find the proper mic. I picked up quite a while ago 4 of these. One's for parts. I've got 2 going. I'm going to try and check in the other one. The third one I don't know. Somebody monkeyed with it, put a bunch of parts in it. I took it out. Actually, with this one. But I think I have an idea of how to fix the impedance match problem. But that'll take me till next week. But I'm going to back off of this one and then hook up the other one, and then I've got 2 more to go.
All right, well, wherever you have it now, that setting of audio gain is pretty good. That gives you a little bit of punch into the carrier. As you know, it doesn't help for the fidelity, but that's about right. Don't go any more than that. You shouldn't have any problems. But yeah, we know how that radio is supposed to sound when it has the full-fledged audio. Looking at a close-up, we see it's got the range local switch, which I guess is a switchable RF gain control. Got an A&L in-out, so it doesn't have the full 4 switches like the MC8-9 series did. And it does have the bullhorn, which replaced the MC6 was replaced at that time out of the Q-Bird. It is 24 channels, and it says it's 1965. I didn't realize that was so long ago. 1965, and the price was $200, just under $200. Civil Air Patrol, and they still had a 6-volt model, a 6-volt DC model for your cars. Well, I guess back 65, a 6-volt car would still be 7 to 10 years old. So that was probably smart of them to make a 6-volt version. All right, back to you. It's working, and we will look for more in future episodes of the Old Tube Radio Network.
One's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 glass tubes and 2 new Vistas. The other one, just in case it doesn't work, I'll say this now. The other one, all the glass tubes, all 6 are general radio telephone tubes in the other one. And I was able to get it going. But it kind of operates like this, and, not too well. What's interesting is, this has the chassis and tube setup of the Super MC8, but the Super MC8 has the octal power plug on the back. This one's got the 18-pin Jones cinch plug on it, like the MC6. So I had to use the MC6 to verify that the power plug was hooked up right, which it is. And I'm using the Super MC8 schematic to work on this thing. Oh boy.
You should look up at the sky. Look up at the sky.
But it's working. Okay. Back to you, and turning this one off and turning on another.
All right. Turning on one and off another, and that's a good thing for the Old Tube Radio Network. And you must be able to see your signal. Someone keyed up and said, look up at the sky. So it must be that MC7 beaconing its RF across the Central Valley here tonight. Radio number 6. The general radio telephone, MC, what was that for? Master control or something like that? They had the VS, the vibration service, which I think was more their mobile style, and the MC series back in 1965, still sounding good. A valid effort and certainly nothing to be ashamed of tonight. Thanks for bringing it by.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
SWL 24 checking in.
SWL 24. Joe, we've got you checked in over on page 1. Looking good.
Number 7.
Number 7. I was just about ready to cue the jingle singers, but let's do a radio instead. And you know what? We're looking for Radio 7, so very apropos.
That worked out just right. Well, in that case, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB with the Golden Eagle D104 attached.
All right, I think I can find a shot of a Browning Golden Eagle, and with the hard to find but often sought after Golden Eagle D104. There we go. And yours is sounding good. One of our newer radios tonight. Can you believe that? I think that may be the newest radio that's checked in tonight from 1970, I don't know, 3, 4, 2, something like that.
Well, there you go. I think they even lasted up to, like, 75 or something like that. And, of course, this microphone was produced in 1976.
Yeah, the Mark III, because it was a 23, it was 40-channel receiver. I guess you would dial through to the, some of them, most of them would, 40 channels, but the transmitter was 23 channels, so the FCC decree of 40 channels sort of begat the Mark IV. So I think they would have just kept producing these for a long, long time had it not been for the 40-channel change and some other stuff as well. Sounds pretty good. Give us a transmission, over.
Well, thank you. Yes, I noticed that you got a picture of Cliffs up there that was, of course, Bill 29ers. That is very similar to mine, but not exactly the same. Yes, and then that is the microphonium that is also attached. So there you go.
Looks good. I noticed there's a new photo that showed up, and this says Browning Golden Eagle Mark III advertisement. When the new photos come in, they're messing up the headlines, the bylines. So that should say Cliff. Here's the other one. Let me pop it in there. That is a sort of a side view from somebody's collection. It looks like it's got a PAL or a Siltronics VFO that was attached in there to do other things. But a cool radio. This was what happens when you took the Mark that we had earlier, the Mark II SSB Series B, and figured out how to take all those 4 boxes and stuff them back into 2.
There you go. Yeah, back when I was a kid, there was a Mark III to set up on a shelf with a D104, but we were told not to touch that radio.
Question?
Yeah, you can look, but don't touch. And boy, is it some good eye candy. Ed, stand by. We have a question that maybe one of us might be able to answer. The question, go ahead, over.
I'm so sorry. I hate butting in. A few minutes ago, someone piped in and said, go look out at the sky or something like that. I did. And what I saw was really weird. I don't want to cause any commotion. Do we know who that was that made that statement and what the hypothesis was? And I'll elaborate if there's a response to that.
Okay, I will say I did not look up at the sky. I can look behind me, but that's not a good sky thing. I'm kind of wired in. Ed, did you look up at the sky?
You know, I actually did go out and take a look. I didn't see anything.
All right, did not see anything. And so the station, the unknown station that was probably not very close to me, but still somewhere not too far away because I could hear them okay, obviously was either outside or mobiling or doing something that mentioned that. So back to you, you that looked up into the sky and has a possible question or answer about what the heck was up there. Over.
Ready to go, DR.
I'll send it back to you, OTR, and then maybe you could pick that other gentleman up. Maybe he's got an answer.
All right. Well, we were online with Radio 7 here, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. The break, OTR, do you have information for the sky, information for the radio at hand, or perhaps you are wanting to be Radio 8? Over.
Wanting to be Radio 8.
All right. You're in Radio 8. Jump into the green room. I have got you logged in. And if you look up in the sky now, you are going to, in moments, see some RF emanating from a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Back to you, Ed.
Well, thank you. Yep, the good old Browning Mark III SSB. Definitely my favorite old tube radio that I have. I like them all, but I like this one the best.
You gotta have a favorite. Everybody has a favorite at one time. I'm glad that is yours. Radio 7, the Browning Golden Eagle, the Mark III SSB, a very popular seller. Probably started out just under $700 in 1972, and I bet by the time 1976 rolled around, they were $800 plus if you could find one or afford one. And indeed, that would be in 76. You could. Like I said before, do you buy the new Browning radio or do you buy the used Pinto? That was a decision you had to ponder back in 1976, but in 2021 it would be a no-brainer. My apologies to the 33 viewers who are out there with us on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight on YouTube, whose chats and questions and comments I would like to see but cannot because of a malfunction for some reason when my studio chat came up and I can't refresh it or else the whole thing would go away. The Old Tube Radio Network. Hello, Harvey. Come in. Over.
Okay. This is the other Super MT7. Oh, not Super. Just MT7. How's it doing?
It's doing good. It sounds a little bit better on the audio. I had my screen covered up. I couldn't see the S meter. So go ahead and take another transmission. I'll leave the S meter up. So if you're ever watching a playback, you can kind of get a level between the two. Oh, by the way, on the other one, I switched over to sideband. It was 27084746, so it wasn't too far off. But man, it just had no audio. When you first keyed up, I could almost not even hear its sidebands, and then you boosted the audio, and that helps. So take another transmission on MC7 number 2.
Okay, MC7 number 2. Go ahead and check beyond sideband, see where I'm at. My equipment says 085.1. Let me know what you think.
All right, the people in the video could see me leaning into the picture there, doing the zero beat. I'm going to say you are actually 085, 0. Because I go, I'm pretty much centered, and when I go to sideband, you're right there, and I actually have to go down by 50 hertz or so to get you. So you are right on frequency.
Okay. What's happening now? With my audio, my carrier should be way down until I start talking.
That is correct. As we could see from the S meter, it's almost, again, this one sounds even more like sideband. Believe it or not, this radio, unadulterated, sounds better than the other one, which we know. The audio is still restricted, but not anything like the other MC7. It's loud, and it's actually good. Now, when you went to the other Harvey range boost on MC7 number 1, compared to Harvey range boost on MC7 number 2, number 1 is actually better. It's really rough. the audio is really rough and choppy on this one, and that's probably a tuning thing.
Yeah. You can hear what happened. Okay. I turned the mic in. Way down. Well, it might be, range boost on.
Break OTR after you're done with Harvey.
Okay, just the radio.
Okay, it was so awful. It was so bad that I didn't even know if you had broken it or stopped transmitting. My guess would be whatever you're doing, do not do it anymore, and acknowledging the breaking station. So the radio sounds perfect without the range boost here. It really does. When you hook up the range boost, it just sounds like it's sparks and smoke and the 4th of July. It is not a good thing.
Okay, I heard the breaker. This radio, I had to replace every single electrolytic in it. I didn't do the canister cap at first, because it seemed like it was trying. And then it let me know that I should by spitting at me. Yeah. So I did it. Anyway, this is the one where all the glass tubes are general radio telephone. When I pulled them out to test it, there was corrosion on the pins, even though they were working. So I had to clean all that. I don't think they were ever taken out of the radio. Anyway, they're all good. And the two new Vistas were absolutely terrible. The receive was really down. So I replaced those with Fairna Midland 16S4s that I had. And the receive is fairly good. The meter does not work at all, but both meter lights work. How about that? Anyway, okay, I'll let you go. I've got 2 more to go. I see the time. We'll be out and let the next one go.
All right, thanks. And don't go away. I have a question. We'll answer it in a moment or two. Was it common for tube manufacturers to, I'm going to say, retrofit or dress up their tubes for the manufacturer? That is to say, Sylvanian, RCA, and Raytheon, or whoever might be making the tubes. I'm obviously, General Radio Telephone didn't make those tubes, but it's got the name on them. So I'm just wondering if you have any information about, the tubes that have the names, if that was something that tube manufacturers would do. Show you the glass to put on. I don't know. Interesting, but don't answer that now. Let me go over to the breaking station. Oh gosh, it is 9:58 already. It's almost counting and amounting time. Jingle singers are playing around. Everybody's having a good time. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with having a good time. And I bet there's a good time going on the video side. I just can't see the chat. Breaking station out in the ditch banks. Hello, radio.
Well, hello, Dennis. 82 for our late check-in. And get ready. Let's see. KP, let's see, around 48. Monkey's Uncle Mark, 50. 650 Rich. And Hard Times. I've seen him out there too, so he probably hasn't checked in a while. But anyway, we were all out at Dos Palace, Eagle Field, for the old drag races on the 8th Mile drag strip, which used to be a runway.
Wow. Okay, I did pretty good at guessing that who might be out there, so I've got all those officially X'd in the squares. Drag racing. I went to my one and only drag race probably when I was 5 years old at in Gardena at Ascot. Was it Ascot Park? At a drag strip. No, it was Lions Drag Strip. That's what it was. Lions Drag Strip in Gardena, and saw the rocket motorcycle with the parachute and going against the dragster and all that. And all I remember is they'd start, the green light, whatever it did, they'd start, and down the track they went, and then everybody would stand up to see what was happening. So if you're 5 years old and someone isn't holding you in the air, you see the drag, you see the car, whatever is out there, the dragster, and then it starts, and there's noise and smoke and all the good stuff, and then everybody stands up and you just see the backs of people. That's what I remember about the dragster back in Gardena. Go ahead.
All righty. Yeah, there was lots of action out there, new track record. So only an eighth a mile, and a guy went 4.68 at 157 miles an hour. And he kind of went off the track at the end, but he did not go over the ditch. He had it stopped in time. So, and also a jet dragster, and that they did that when the sun set, and that was very loud and very bright and very fast. So anyway, good times. Off going on tomorrow.
All right, sounds like fun. I figured a lot of people were out doing things. Everything's open, people out doing stuff, and that's a good thing, and we're glad for that. Sounds like fun. Sounds like I should go back to the drag strip, and this time I'll be able to see the end of the race, and I'll make sure that if there's someone behind me that can't, I will make sure that they can. SWL82, hello, Ron, you're sounding good. Just a reminder that Bones is the purveyor, or a purveyor of the Ditch Banks sideband net that happens on Friday evenings at 8 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, right here in the Central Valley on 27 365, 36 lower. Tune it in, join us. You had your hands full. Before you go, you had your hands full last night. What were you using as an antenna? You were hearing stations that I could not hear.
Well, I'd say 98% of the time I use my 5/8 ground plane, the old Mako V58, whatever. And every once in a while I'd switch over to the beam. Got a spider beam, so I'd switch over there once in a while. But anyway, thanks for the check-in and all the proxies and everything you do. But had 18 DX stations out there check-in that I could keep track of and write. And I know I had a lot of help, a lot of relays, and they were hearing stuff I couldn't hear also. So it was fun.
Yeah, Ron last night literally had a DX pile-up after the local net. And the band was wide open. You were hearing those little radar sweep things going on, and there was Oregon, Washington, we talked to Michigan, Wisconsin, I don't know, all over the place. So lots of fun. Tune it in on Friday evenings, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on 36 lower, and he will get you checked in on the visitor section. He works overtime. He's one of those guys that works overtime and doesn't ask to get paid extra. All right, thank you, Ron. I'm going to stop talking for a while and do some counting and amounting, and if there's some other radios that would like to check in, we will pick them up.
Number 7.
And then 47.
All right, 7 and 47, and I don't know, we might have questions to answer, things like that. Ed, take a transmission. Something was very crackly and crunchy, so keep your eye on the wiggle meters.
Oh, yeah. It may blow up any minute. It's going to crackle and crunch a bit, but we'll get it checked in real quick anyway. The good old Citizens Band transceiver from Robin, the T123 no B. And yes, the winking and blinking thing is really blinking all over.
All right, well, at least it's showing you what's happening, so that must mean it's happening in the audio circuit. We'll find the Robin. You know, this is sort of opposite of what's been happening. We've been getting the Robins checking in weekly, and then the Eagles come in. You know, the Eagles roost. And tonight we got the Brownings checking in, the Eagles flying in, and now the Robins have come in to roost. Before we go, I want to get a shot if someone's actually tuning in for the first time and says, what is a Robin? Right there. There's a picture of a robin. Whoa, kind of a squishy robin. I'll get a better picture. It's a beautiful green radio Panasonic chassis. I think it's plate modulated AM, all 23 channels, and lots of lights that may crackle, or they may wink at you when it's crackling. All right, it worked good that time. Give it another try. Give it one more try.
Okay. Sometimes it works, and there you go. Well, I'll try to trace that down and get it taken care of. But yeah, the good old Robin T123, no B, waking
no
up,
B.
waking I, checking in, and then I will take a listen for anything else. Don't have the time to warm up another one.
Okay, not a problem. I misspoke here. I had the 123. I had the 123B. There is the radio that he's actually on. That's the earlier model. So it's not the Panasonic chassis. At least that number 2, and it has the magic eye tube, which is probably doing a little dance. But it sounds good. Boy, it's really loud. It's got big time audio. It's just trying to bust loose. Radio number 9. Thanks for bringing by our first one and only Robin of the evening. Tonight, all right, and that picture is also the MT1 desk microphonium that's hard to find. Let's go back over to the breaking station, and that is Mike, who actually had come back in. He's come back in from looking at the sky.
After Mike.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a joke to make about that after Mike. Actually, I'd be very curious in finding out how SWL20 can hear me. But anyways, from the radio lounge, I hate to make this a double play, but how about another version of the radio that I believe you just heard, another Robin 123.
Another 123, meaning you are looking at the winking, blinking magic eye as well?
I am, and I don't know if Ed is still listening, or if he commented on this. I don't think he did, but I'd be very curious to find out just exactly what his magic eye tube is doing. This is I'm assuming this is the first of the Robin CB radios that they put out, and it does have the vertically mounted magic eye tube 6RE13, unless I'm mistaken. You yap into the microphone like I'm doing right now, and a bar illuminates from the top, and another one from the bottom, and they kind of meet in the center. Kind of like the more I open my mouth, the more that thing closes. The bars kind of meet in the center. This one seems to work very well, especially because I've got the amplified D104 on it, and I don't know what microphone Ed was using on it, but I'd be very curious. I don't know if he's still listening, or even if it's that relevant, but it's always kind of interesting finding out just how much these magic eye tubes actually work compared to the microphones that are being used.
Oh yes, the light well, that was definitely slamming shut, and yes, it's an amplified D104. It used to be the Loners, 2 9ers, and he ran everything really loud.
Yeah, what microphone were you using?
Amplified D104.
A little private conversation here, OTR, but yeah, that's great. That's exactly the configuration that I'm using right now, and I think the adjective that you used, slamming shut, I think that's quite appropriate. I could not have said it better myself. That's what this one's doing right now. But yeah, like I said a couple hours ago, I was really sad. I woke up this morning. I really had the hankering to take this up in the mountains and see what kind of mischief I could get myself into. But I got lazy as always. So it's here in the radio lounge with the AC power cord on the back, OTR.
All right, very good. The amplified D104. See, you don't have the range boosts on the 123 like you do on the B, so an amplified microphone probably is not a bad selection. On the 123B, if you've got the range boost adjusted properly, that will do the amplification for you, and then the amplified microphone is sort of wasted, or you just don't turn on the range boost, or if you turn the range boost, you turn the microphone all the way down. So sort of fighting the two. They both sound good. Radio number 10, the Robin T123. And I like your analogy. As I open my mouth, the tube closes its mouth. That just takes it down to pure science. The more you shout, the more it doesn't. All right, well, back to you. And occasionally I'll run across an iTube, and it's just like, oh, it's another. They must have had many different styles and models. But I think you are right. 6RE13, where we were looking into the side of the tube rather than the top to see the magicness of whatever it's showing us, whether it's modulation or signal strength or whatever else tuning. You're right on, dead on tuning indicator. Pretty cool how they could use for all that. Take another transmission, then we will pick up. I think Harvey is waiting at some point. But your Robin is sounding good, and the fans, and I cannot see the chat sidebar going on, but the fans of the Robins are standing up and cheering.
Oh, good. I'm going to just kind of be quiet for a moment and turn the spotlight over to SWL20, and then there's maybe a couple other things to chat about after that. So thanks for letting me check that radio in.
All right, very good. And hello, Harvey, over.
Hello, over. Okay, just for fun, here's my General Radio Telephone Super MC11.
All right, well, Paul had his Super MC11, and that is the 11, not the 11A. You cannot see the, as Chris would say, the old man in the wheelchair or the GRT logo, correct?
Most correct. No logo, just a General Radio Telephone company above the speaker.
All right, well, I've got a different shot. See, I've only got one shot of the 11A, but I've got multiple shots of the MC11. It says right on there, designed to comply with equipment for Class D, requirements for Class D equipment, model MC11, serial number, whatever it is, 1101049. There was probably a method to the serial number. Like that might be Radio 149 or something. General Radio Telephone Company, 3501 West Burbank Boulevard. Got to drive by there and see what's at 3501 Burbank Boulevard. There is an interesting thing here. There's the coax, the SO239, and then there is an RCA jack. What in the world is the RCA jack for? External speaker, maybe? I don't know.
That's for the bullhorn type thing.
Oh, all right, so that's output. Output for the bullhorn. Let me get the front of the radio, where you can see where it says radio bullhorn. All right, take a transmission. It works. It sounds good. I'll put up the S meter here, so see how it works if you're watching. But I think that one's... Oh, this one I'm showing here, it's missing a switch, it looks like. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you have a pencil to write something down?
Yeah, I got a pen. I'm writing... Oops. I guess I got to keep the transmitter if you want to hear me. I've got a pen, and I am writing stuff down. In fact, I'm writing down that you're Radio 11 on the General Radio Telephone, so I am ready to transcribe over.
Okay. Transcribing time. In the Sam's photo fact, it says local oscillator 11 megacycles, to 12 megacycles, or 11 megahertz actually, to 12 megahertz in the Super MC11A. Okay? That's for the channel crystals. And then it says in parentheses, for the local oscillator, 23 megahertz used in the MC11. Okay? Then below that it says transmit oscillator, the one crystal for the transmit oscillator. 1.728 used in the Super MC11A and 3.456 used in the Super MC11. Okay? That is not what is in my 11 or my 11A. Okay? I have 11 megahertz crystals in my 11 for the local oscillator and 3.456 correctly for the transmit oscillator in the 11. But the crystals for the channel selector aren't 23 megahertz, they are 11. I don't know why. But then I looked at the Super MC11A, and amazingly it's got the 11 megahertz crystals for the crystals in the turret tuner for the local oscillator. And also, it does have the 1.728 crystals used for the transmit oscillator. Okay. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on here with the radio. And I don't know. I think they changed a couple of picofarad capacitors and a couple of inductor coils and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, we talked about before when they're out in the kitchen table redesigning things. So no doubt, whatever dinner napkin all that information was on got thrown in the trash and not sent to Howard Sam's or whatever his name is. So do all these frequencies have to add up to 2705 to get to channel 11? Do you have to have an 11 this and a 23 that and a 1 point something? How do you get to your 28 to your 27085?
Okay. There's a doubler in there somewhere. Something gets doubled, and then when you add up the rest, or add up the other two, or the other one, it works.
All right, that would make sense. If you double your 11 and you're at 23 something, and then you add another 3.4, now you're at 26 or 27. So it makes it seems like just plug in a crystal, doggone it. Just plug in a 27085, just plug it in there, like you do on the walkie-talkie. But I know there's mixing things and receiver this and IO and LO and EIEIOs. You gotta take your hat off to these guys that figure this out. These guys and gals that figure this stuff out.
Tell me about it. I think what they did was they doubled the 11 megahertz crystals, and then what'd they do? They doubled that, and then they added the 3.456 to it, your frequencies, but I don't know. It's kind of unusual what they did.
The unusual frequency.
I don't know.
I hear you.
It's kind of unusual what they did.
There's your replay, and then you're going to hear me if I don't do this quickly.
Frequency. I don't know.
Then you're going to hear you.
I hear you.
And then you're not going to hear anything. All right, just had a reboot on the other computer. Stranger things have happened on the old Tube Radio Network. I just refreshed my screen. I wanted to say hello to John, SWL128, who checked in. He says, 10 p.m. is 1 a.m. Eastern, but there needs to be a limit. And I if there was a way we could start earlier, when cycle 25 comes in, it's going to be bad news at 8 o'clock when we can't even hear each other local. So I don't know. That's what the replay is for, I guess. You can go about your business and bring up the audio replay or the video replay and do your stuff and not really have to pay any attention. But maybe if there's something that you think, I wish I would have commented on that. All right. So I hear you, John, and I don't know. We always had a problem on the West Coast. We're working for broadcast. That's why when the East Coast does a show at 9 o'clock, and they tape delay it, so the West Coast never got anything live. They do the show live. They do Letterman live, whatever, and then we get the replay 3 hours later. It's only during the Academy Awards, and then those have to start at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon because of the West Coast. Same thing with games. Game's got to start early here. I understand that. The game's got to start early here because the West Coast, by the time the baseball game ends, it's midnight. If it starts at 9 o'clock and it starts at 6 o'clock out here. And then there's extra innings. Like we are going extra innings tonight, then you got to stay up past 12. So I hear you, and a point well taken. Thanks for Radio 11, Harvey. And there was a question from Michael, I think. Over.
Nice little Roger chirp there. Well, actually, I think there, instead of a question, there might have been more of a statement, but perhaps even before that statement, the radio I'm on is going to make a statement of its own. I am on another Robin, a 123B, as in Bravo, with unfortunately no magic eye tube, but a rather anemic functioning modulation lamp, which is not really doing much of anything because I've got this sliding glass door open trying to enjoy this great weather we're having. And it's late at night, and I'm not going to scream too horribly loud into this unamplified, what I believe is the original stock microphone, but a 123 on the roster for this evening.
Yet another one, T120, and that's the Bravo, because you said it did not have the magic eye, and here's a shot of it with its box. But wouldn't that be exciting, getting a Robin back in 1972, 73, picking up this Robin box. There's your 5-watt, 23-channel Citizen radio transceiver, the looks and performance of tomorrow by the designers and engineers of today. And in the 21st century, it stands true. It sounds good. Take another it's mellow, but that's because it's not amplified, but it still sounds good. Take a transmission.
Okay, well, on this transmission, I'm going to ask you a question. I really don't care to listen to the sound of my own voice, but that having been said, do you have the capacity to do some instant replay?
I don't, but because of my earlier mistake, and this is still going, and I think, what did I do? How did I shut this off? Let me try something here. Earlier mistake. Yeah, I do. So what you have to do, we don't get about a 10-second replay. So when I unkey, talk for about 8 or 9 seconds, and then stop talking, and you should hear your replay if I do this correctly. So go ahead.
Okay, this is range boost on 1, 2, 3, 4, and range boost off 5, 6, 7, 8.
So go ahead.
Okay, this is range boost on 1, 2, 3, 4, and range boost off 5, 6, 7, 8.
Over.
So go ahead. Okay. Wow, that is amazing. That's amazingly horrible. That was awesome. I've never ever heard that back to back there. Wow. That's unbelievable. I'm grateful that you were able to show me that.
It's just the amazingly horrible frequency. Yeah, thanks to my mistake earlier, and the longer I keep that window open, the more delay I get. So we got about an 8-second delay. So you were perfect. You took your cue perfectly, and that works great. Because I have it piped through. The levels might have been a little low. Actually, the level was low in the second one, but I have it EQ'd. So pay no attention to the equalization because I have it EQ'd for something else. But the playback, you can definitely hear the level difference between 85% to 100% modulation and 8 to 5% modulation over.
Yeah, that's pretty staggering, and like I said, thank you. I've never ever heard my own radio with my own voice doing that range expand on versus off experiment. So that's cool. Thank you so much. So I don't know really what else I could say about this radio. It's fun to use. I love it. I think I've said numerous times it's the prettiest radio in my collection, or at least I should say the most unscratched radio, and it definitely has not been peed on by a cat, unlike my other Robin, and no, thank God it doesn't still smell like that anymore. But it's a fun one to use nonetheless. Lots of, I guess they're, I don't know if they're LED or neon lamps, I guess neon on the front, but fun to use. And I will kind of switch gears rather abruptly, and I found it really curious that whoever it was that kind of piped up and said, go look out in the sky. Well, I actually did go run out and look in the sky because it seems like it's been a long time we've had anyone kind of reporting on, fun stuff going on in the atmosphere. I did run out there and, was kind of looking around and thought there was nothing. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how many things I saw in the sky, but I'm not going to use the word scary, but I'm going to say it was rather disturbing what I saw up there. It was kind of up towards the north, I think, and there were, I was reasonably sure that they were not airplanes or anything like that. It was way, way, way high up there. The lights were not blinking. They were evenly spaced, and I tried to count how many there were following each other in what seemed to be a perfect straight line. But I had to run inside and grab someone else just to make sure that I was not hallucinating. So we didn't know what it was, and I'm grateful for whoever it was that chimed in there and said, "Hey, go look up in the sky." It was rather disturbing. We didn't know what it was, and you can only imagine what kind of hypothesis we had come up with. But I think we've looked it up online, and it appears as though it's highly likely that our good buddy Elon Musk may have launched several internet satellites that are all kind of following each other in a straight line. If you Google it, you could probably find out just about as much information as I've just spewed out at you. But it was pretty cool and pretty unsettling, and I guess it takes stuff about an hour and a half to circle the Earth. So if you're, it's about 9:45, I think, when it happened. So if you have nothing better to do, an hour and a half from 9:45, go look up in the sky and you'll see exactly what it was I was talking about.
All right, as they say, this is the Starlink frequency. You saw the elusive Starlink. I have been trying for a year, or however long it started. And when it first started, they were up all the time. They were positioned where you could pretty much go out once a night or every couple of nights. Then astronomers and people complained because it was scary, and they figured out how to position these things to, instead of reflecting the light this way, reflect the light that way so they weren't visible. And now they're starting to show up again. And there was a really good Central Valley Starlink pass about 2 weeks ago that I missed, and obviously there was one tonight that I also missed again, the Starlink. So I see it before they go up. But they actually made them less visible by doing something, by repositioning something, because people had complained or were getting scared. But it looks like they're back to that. So congratulations for going out there. Thanks to the other guys that did the heads up on the Starlink pass, which I have yet to see.
Oh yeah, highly recommended, and rest assured, no, it is not something that would come and eat your brain in the middle of the night. It's only for the internet. Well, wait a minute. I think the internet does probably rot your brain in the middle of the night. No comment. I'll send, on that strange note, I'll send it back to you, sir. 73. Everyone sounds great tonight.
All right. Well, I'll give it the brain rot frequency. All right. One last call for anything. I want to sign out here at 10:30 Pacific Daylight Time, or as John would say, 1:30 Eastern Time. And who is still out? Germantown, Wisconsin, Bronx, New York. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Blackpool, where it's very Sunday. It's probably 6 in the morning out there in Blackpool. So congratulations on the Starlink. There was a pass of the International Space Station about a week ago. One of those 90-degree overhead, 8 minutes, and I actually got the ladder out, went up on the roof, and sat there with my binoculars and not binoculars and looked at that and thought, I need to go over to the amateur radio here and pull up, 145 something, and listen to the guys kicking in and out on the space station doing the CQ thing. So I don't know. I'm almost thinking I might want to get some satellite antennas, but that's for another time. All right. Any other stations before we do the counting and amounting here on the Old Tube Radio Network?
60.
Oops. I almost broke my keyer here. Go ahead, 60.
Thank you much. We won't be long there, Dennis. I'd like to check in my Robin, a 123B. Doggone it, I know
The night's been long, and we've been sitting here enjoying listening to everyone on this old Robin here. And a few times, RF was so good that even my modulation light was working on its own, all by itself. So we did enjoy the night, and we'd like to just verify my 11 tubes, 123B.
Verified. We've got a picture. Let me go to the big screen here. Let me go to the even bigger screen. The Robin T123B, the big green machine. And I'm doing some counting and amounting here at 10:30 Pacific Daylight Time. The Robin. You are lucky number 13 tonight, so that could be a portent of things to come when we count and amount. It sure sounds good. We did you have the range expand. If you don't want to do this because, switches are old and sometimes moving them when they work is a bad thing. But earlier we had a test of the range expand off and on, and Mike did his. So he's out there listening. So if you can, one, let us know what microphone you're using, and then do the range expand off and talk, and the range expand on, and we can get an idea of how much gain and non-gain you have with your Robin T123B. Over.
Not a problem, Dennis. Right now we are on a amplified D104, and the range expand is on. Now I'll turn it off. That is with the range boost off, and I still have a little light flashing, and my text light's working fine, but that is with it off.
Okay, and that follows from what we heard, because you have an amplified microphone, so you went from, and you're very loud with that radio. It's not overmodulated, it's nice and loud. And then you went to maybe 25% modulation. So you were a little bit louder than Mike was, because your initial issue microphonium is amplified. So with the range expand off, you would definitely need to crank your amplified mic up. With it on, you've got it set up quite well. All right, a good test, and that's why we are here. We're here to check in radio, so that's what we do. And if you need to do a test, or somebody's listening, or I think that's what we do best. Let people test things out and hear what's going on. So very good. Radio 13, the Robin T123B, the Panasonic chassis, 23 channels, 5 watts DC input. And they sold a lot of those in various forms, whether it's a Robin or a Chris 23 Plus or whatever. 11 tubes with the 12 AX7 in the audio, operator's manual, and a schematic at oldtuberadio.com somewhere. And it's even got a couple of transistors, I think, for the 12 volts for the DC to DC conversion. Back to you for another transmission. Thanks for bringing things in, and I think you will be our final radio tonight.
Thank you, Dennis. And one last thing, this is a modified version here. I do have extra channels on this. It goes up to 39. And the way the switches are positioned right now, we're able to talk on 11. Okay, Dennis, thank you, and hey, we had a wonderful time.
As did I. And it appears that I misspoke when I said you might be the last radio of the evening, at least to check in. There is no reason that after the official net is over, that stations can't be out here talking for as long as they want on their tube radios. And just that I won't know about it. The other tube radio station that is probably going to be Radio 14, take a transmission.
Okay. I get my Browning Golden Beagle R68T68 rough from Browning Laboratories in. With the medallion on the back of the microphonium. Now this does have a range boost too. Okay. And here we go. Range boost off. Range boost on. How's that with the range boost on?
That actually works like a range boost. It gets louder. It doesn't amplify any distortion because there isn't any. And it sounds like you moved, 5 miles closer to me.
All right. need it, so off it goes. Okay, this will be the last one for me, and I don't know about those NC7s. I've got a problem with them. I think I've figured out something about it, and if I have time, I'll see if I can solve it by next week.
All right, 7 days for an MC7. Well, I mean, we heard you, so in theory there isn't that much of a problem, right? Because we heard you okay, but I know of what you speak, what problems you might want to solve up. And the MC7 it's kind of rare. I don't know if that was a short hop between the 6 and the 8, but they kept coming out after the 5, the 6, the 7, and then the 8. So more rare. Thanks for Radio 14. Is that the Browning? Is that the Browning lavatories?
Yes, this is the flushable radio that we do not flush from Browning Lavatories. Excuse me. Demco, when they came out with the Satellite Deluxe, they recommended a certain mic on it. If you ran a D104, there was a switch on the back, high impedance, low impedance. Can't remember which was which, but if you had to switch in certain position, that radio was super good. You flip that switch the other way, it's like the microphone element was dead. So, it reminds me kind of my BB30 General and the MC7. Only certain mics will work with them. So, I have a BB30 schematic, so I'm going to land the Demco satellite, Deluxe, so I'm going to look at that switch, and I have a sneaky suspicion what they do, and I'm going to see if I can undo it in the MC7, and then I can run what I want on it.
Or as Dr. J say, run what you brung. This radio here doesn't need the range boost. Actually, every radio had tonight didn't need the range boost, but it works the best out of all of them. That's for sure. All right. Well, looks like you have your work cut out for you. Of course, the Old Tube Radio Network will be here next week and the week after that, and probably a few weeks after that. So if you don't meet your deadline, that's okay. We will be waiting. All right. Any other items before we count in amount and the jingle singers? The jingle singers better be ready because I got to jump out of here. You guys got to save me. So anybody else? And as they say, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Stay with us and be modern, or be old, or whatever. Be something. Be whatever you're going to be. The Old Tube Radio Network tonight did okay. I figured everybody would be out picnicking and celebrating and watching the Starlink, and there were a lot of stations that stopped by after their festivities or during their festivities to say hello, and we appreciate that. My apologies on not being able to comment or at least relay the comments on the video side because I have a blank chat box. I will go back once the video replays itself, or re-ups and replays itself. I should be able to view all the great information that I missed. For counting and amounting, let's see. I can't count and amount until they do their thing. I'm waiting for the fanfare. Okay, now they're coming up here.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
These would be the current final totals, of course. And it's going to be interesting for sure. On SWLs tonight, we had 15 on page 1, 16 on page 2, 17 on page 3, and 26 on page 4 for a total of 74, if I did the math correct. And we had 14 radios tonight, not bad at all. Who was the most heard manufacturer? I will tell you that. But first, let me tell you that radio number 1 was the Browning Golden Eagle Mark II Series B. That was from Paul. And radio number 1. Radio number 2 was the Browning Golden Eagle R68T68 from Mr. Ed. So the Browning's off to a good start, like they haven't been in months. Radio number 3, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11. We're used to hearing the A's. The 11s were pretty big tonight. Sounding good from Paul. Thanks, Paul, for your radios tonight. It was nice to have a quiet frequency for the local channels. Radio number 4, Mr. Ed on the Tram TR27E, the tram hanging out there, saying, hey, I'm green, and I'm good, and I'm out there for Radio 4. Radio 5 was the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, a staple of the old tube radio network. Thanks, Joe. Got a lot of fans of E.F. Johnson. I'd like to talk to Radio Ham guy, Larry from Minnesota, wherever he is. I haven't heard him in a while. Get him on Echolink. He's an E.F. Johnson guy. Radio number 6, the General Radio Telephone MC7, and so began the saga of the MC7s. That's MC7 number 1. Radio 7 was not an MC7, but was from SWL7, and that was the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Radio 8 was indeed Radio 7, and MC7 number 2 from Harvey. That one a little better audio. And then, like we did in prior weeks, where the Eagles realized that the Robins have taken over, the Robins realized that the Eagles have taken over. So radio number 9 was the Robin T123 from Ed. Radio 10 was the Robin T123B, thanks to Mike. Radio 11, another General Radio Telephone Super MC11, so 2 of those tonight from Harvey. Radio 12, a Robin T123B from Mike, 47, and then Joe came in with his Robin T123B for Radio 13, and then the Browning Lavatory's Golden Beagle, R68, T68, Radio 14. So who was the most heard manufacturer? Well, believe it or not, it was a 4-way tie between 4 Brownings, 4 Robins, and 4 General Radio Telephones, all decided ping-ponging in the last overtime session of the old tube radio network. I'm going to take a quick break. All right, I want to make sure. Doing old buzzer transmission, something could break. So we did good tonight. Had fun. Everybody out doing their things. There's a home show going on. There's all sorts of... realtors are having open houses, barbecues, drag races, or not. Or just go out. Just go outside wherever you may be, whether it's the balcony on the apartment overlooking the interstate, or it's the 45-acre backyard that you got to get on the Toro riding mower to fix. But do it and have a good time. We do here at the Old Tube Radio Network. 73, everybody. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com and Frodix for the Nixie tubes, and thanks to you for helping us stay on the air for the last 36 years. We can't do it without you. 73, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network. And again, I will look for the comments and take notes on the video side. 73.
Good night, OTR. Thank you much. And Johnny Defiant was out there also in the chat room, waving a hand to him. And thanks a lot.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I've got the new... I wonder if Johnny Defiant is out there. I've got the new audio thing. Let's see. And I'm on a different setup. But that doesn't mean... And you can only hear this if you're listening on the internet. You can only hear this if you're on... But I may fix that. I'll have to fix that. But you can only hear this if you're listening on oldtuberadio.net or the YouTube video. When we say we're checking in, the one and only Johnny. Oh, wait a minute, it's not working. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. We're checking the one and only. See, I changed things here. Johnny Defiant. All right, perfect. Good night, everybody.
Hey, Dennis, who was the gentleman that checked in from, or he checked in and brought up Eagle Field?
He checked in. I've got the Johnny Defiant filter on. He checked in from Eagle Field. Okay, you're taxing my memory because I'm thinking Eagle radios, but that's not what you're referring to.
No, that was Bones. He was there, Ron.
Oh yes, yes, that's right. He was. They were doing the drag racing thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. You hit the nail right on the head. I got a great little story. Hopefully the recording and the internet is turned off now. But Ed, I think you said his name was Ron. Ron, if you're still listening, I got a great story, and I'll blab about it. It's a real short one, even if you're not listening right now, Ron.
I'm out here. Go ahead.
Oh, great. So you're the gentleman that went out to Eagle Field. That's correct?
Yes, I did today. It was great.
Hey, Mike?
Yes, sir, Harvey. Go.
I'm not listening. Go ahead.
Okay. I got a great story about Eagle Field years and years and years ago. I'm going to try and boil this down. I called into the Ray Appleton show because when I was a small child, there was an awesome tank, an actual tank, physical tank, like, it's got a gun on it and treads, in front of the Fresno Zoo. And Mr. Appleton was talking about the zoo, and I thought, this is ridiculous. I've never called in. He's not really talking about the tank. He's talking about the zoo tag, blah, 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 blah. But I called in and asked, they put me on the air. I asked Mr. Appleton, I said, I know this is a long shot, but do you know anything about the Sherman tank that used to be out in front of the Fresno Zoo? And to make a long story short, he knew exactly what I was talking about, and he bought that gosh darn thing. And it's really funny, I guess, well, for those of you that don't know, there was a tank in front of the zoo, and I loved climbing on that thing. It was just awesome when I was a kid, and then it went bye-bye. And apparently it got removed because, kids were falling off of it or whatever. And he purchased it, was it Karen Humphrey? I think she was the mayor of Fresno back then. She said, look, we got to get rid of this thing. She got a hold of Mr. Appleton, who purchased it for $1. Let me say that again. He bought this World War II tank for $1 from the city and had it trucked all the way out to Eagle Field. This is what he's telling me over the air. And I thought, well, this is curious. Eagle Field, I don't know anything about it. So I Googled Eagle Field. And then, of course, I pulled up a satellite image of Eagle Field. And again, I had no idea what I was looking for. And I see a satellite image of it, and I'm kind of nosing around, and I'm like, wait a minute. That thing looks like a tank. And I zoomed in as best as I could, and sure enough, I was 99.999% sure my tank was there. So I threw my kids, and again, this is a number of years ago, I threw my kids in the camper, and we drove out there, and I found that gosh darn tank. It was just, what a wonderful experience that was. And I wound up meeting the guy, and Ron, I'll bet you a nickel, you know the gentleman that owns that place. I'm sure when I unkey, you're going to be able to spout his name off immediately. But I got a chance to meet him. He was awesome. He showed me some very interesting items that he's collected over the years there. But what a great experience that was. I still remember it. And again, this was probably 5-8 years ago, something like that. So that's cool. I wish I would have known that the drag races were going on there. I absolutely would have driven out there today. So that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I forget the guy's name, but, yeah, it'll be going on tomorrow, and, yeah, you could go in the hangar. We went in the hangar a couple years ago and checked out all the stuff. They got a helicopter in there. They got some old abandoned planes out. I'm not good on my military, what type of plane. I don't know if it's like a B-52 or what it is, but they got something outside. They got stuff inside. Old Jeeps, the tank, yeah, all that stuff is still there. It's neat, and they have a fly-in. They have some type of a fly-in, and I think that's by ticket only probably a limited amount or something and a dinner. And yeah, I heard that's really neat, you know, without the drag racing. So yeah, they're out there tomorrow.
And can I confirm that when you were out there today or recently, you said that you actually saw that military tank?
Now today I didn't go up into that area. Today I didn't, but yeah, I've been going out there probably for the last maybe 10 years. So yeah, I know it was out there at one time, but today I didn't venture off over that way where it was at. So I kind of think it's still out there. There's a lot of stuff out there still.
Yeah. Well, I've Googled it since then, and the tank definitely got moved. And for the record, I described it, I think, earlier, a few minutes ago. I purposely misdescribed it as a Sherman tank, because that's how I described it when I called in to the Alpton show. For the record, it was a Stuart tank, and it was actually used, I believe, somewhere in Belgium, but it was a legitimate World War II tank. It was not a Sherman. It was a Stuart, and I got to tell you, when you start paying attention to World War II tanks and whatnot, the Stuart tanks are really small and really pathetic. It's just really kind of funny. But nonetheless, it was a World War II tank, and I think, once I don't know how it got from, the World War II theater to Fresno, but once they got it here, of course, they welded everything shut, so you couldn't climb in there. And I think when Mr. Appleton got a hold of it, they opened it up, and they found, I think he said that there was all sorts of trash that had been shoved in, the little hatches and whatnot, condoms and cans and all sorts of stuff. But he actually said that there was some ammunition that was found in there that I guess hadn't been cleared out. So think about that. Your kids are playing on a tank, and then years later you find out that they got some bullets in there, maybe some flares from a flare gun or something like that. But anyways, it was an incredible, just within the span of a couple days, calling it randomly, and you're scared to do it, calling into a talk show, and then, you find this relic from your childhood. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I definitely want to go out there. And if there's anyone that's still listening, they actually did use part of Eagle Field. They used one of the buildings there as an airport that they used in the latest Indiana Jones movie. The clip, or the little clip that it was featured was only just seconds. But I've paused the movie and watched it over and over and over again, and sure enough, I think it's the biggest. I don't want to say the air traffic control building, but if you go out there, you take lots of pictures of the main building, and then go watch that Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skull, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're right. There was Army Jeeps out there, and gosh, when I first went out there was a lot more stuff out there. But anyway, yeah, they'll be out there tomorrow, and there'll be some other drag races coming up, and I'm not sure when the fly-in is, but that fly-in would probably be really neat to go to if you like the old planes.
Yeah, and let me ask, what kind of cars are actually drag racing?
Well, today I believe it's all pre-70s, so you'll see a lot of, they have the old 38 coupes, stuff like that, and then the newer cars, the Novas, 57 Chevys, 55s, stuff like that. And they have kind of modernized them. They're running, one guy had an F10 pickup, and it had a LS motor in it, and it had twin turbos. A lot of the other guys have single turbos with the nitrous injected and stuff like that, and they have them in Novas and Camaros, and like 68 Camaros are pretty popular, and the old Novas, the 60s Novas and the early 70s also.
Oh, okay, that's spectacular. Yeah, for some weird reason I was thinking, okay, drag racing, so I immediately think funny cars. But no, that's great. That makes a lot more sense, and probably more interesting. That the folks are doing with those particular cars. Well, that's great. Boy, that really makes me want to run out there. I did see the several Jeeps that you were talking about, and the planes, and I don't know if I'm going to make it out there, but I'm definitely going to Google it and snoop around from the satellite pictures and and see what's still lurking around out there. So. Boy, great topic. I'm certainly glad you chimed in there, and God, I just love that place. Again, it's been years, possibly 8 years or so since I've been over there, and I've just fantasized about going back there and talking to that awesome gentleman, and even I'm a musician, and I know that he had occasionally he hosted like World War II, kind of like USO parties in that hangar that you just mentioned. There's I'm sure you probably noticed, well, if it's still there, there's kind of like a small stage that was built in there. And I told him, well, I don't know, where you're getting your dance bands from, but I live in Fresno, and I'm a member of one, and I'd love to come out here and play for you. And of course, nothing happened. I think the bands that he was using for his dances that he occasionally hosted were from the Merced area. But anyways, long story short, that's just an awesome place, and I'm certainly glad you brought it up.
Yeah, they had a little swap meet there today, overnight camping. Your admission, $50 for the 3-day weekend and free camping. So, yeah, it's a good time out there, and, old cars, and they did have some new cars today. They let some diesel pickups run, and of course they were, I guess, modified, and they had the Duramax diesel, they had Cummins diesel, and stuff like that, so quite interesting. Tomorrow they might let the I call them the Honda cars, anything foreign made. Call them the rice burner cars, and front wheel drive, and they'll let those guys go out, I think maybe tomorrow. But they kind of, try to let all stuff like that. A lot of the high dollar cars won't go out there because of the dust, but a lot of nostalgia cars.
Yeah, and number one, I'm glad that there's that particular venue for folks that are interested in doing that. I'm glad that venue is out there, and I'd be very curious to find out just how far away people are traveling from just to do that. And as far as the cost, that gentleman. I don't know how I found this out. I don't know if it's on Wikipedia or I don't know. And I suppose it probably wouldn't be difficult to find the story out online. But the gentleman that bought that place, I think he bought it for relatively cheaply. Maybe it was in the 80s. Please don't quote me on that. But I think he bought it because it was just going to be another, piece of history that was going to be dilapidated and forgotten. And as far as I know, which isn't a whole lot, again, it began as an Army Air Corps training facility. There was no Air Force back then. So they used to train pilots out there. And although not all of the buildings have survived, some have, and literally, if you walk around there, at least back several years ago when I did walk around there, it was literally like walking through history. So, if the guy's charging $50 for 3 days of free camping, just because he's such an honest guy, and I believe in what he does. I don't know. Maybe he's a jerk. I have no idea. But to preserve a piece of history like that, that's pretty important to me. So I'm certainly glad he's doing it, and giving the folks an opportunity to go enjoy the hobbies that they love. Maybe this would be a good thing to like check in on this Saturday night from Eagle Field. Ooh, that's food for thought, Dennis. I don't know if you're still listening, but maybe we'll work on that.
I tried. I tried. Right when I was leaving, it was. I think I left there at 8:30, and I live out towards Kerman, Biola, and took me 30 minutes to get home. But I just quite couldn't make the trip there from the mobile. But anyway, it's a great place, man. Like I said, the old school dragsters were out there where they had the flathead motors, straight sixes, flathead V8s, where you sat, where your butt kind of sat over the rear end, and the old drive line was kind of like right in front of you. Yeah, they had those out there. They had a twin-engine dragster. I think it was 2 Chevy small blocks joined together for the twin-end dragster. They had a jet dragster, which makes a lot of noise, a lot of smoke, and a big front flame, and it's really, really loud. So it was great entertainment. And like I said, there was a track record set for 8th mile out there, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is taking me back to when I...
All right, good night, everybody, from the old Tired Tube Radio Network at 11 o'clock, 11:02 Pacific Daylight Time,
channel
73.
I don't know, 34 or 44 on the Comcast box, and then it's like 35